stones and shadows bite, willows whisper of darkness deep and wide. In the forest there is no place to hide. Strange paths, tonight I fear that I will not survive the dying of the light.
This is The Dying of the Light, a series from the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons & Dragons game system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we're telling at thestarfallcollective.com. This is a new episode. Let's find out who's in it. I am Sir Robert, a father and entrepreneur, and the host of the season's story. With me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Please say your name, something about yourself if you like, and a brief description of the character you're playing. And if you'd like to say anything about your character's take on what you just discovered for our listening audience, let me put that in a different order there. When I say different order, I mean I just have a quick description. Previously on The Dying of the Light, Diamondback, Belvari, Toll, and Inkatink made their way through the darkness of the hole towards Inkatink's magical focus. Finally, closing in on it, the four adventurers came to a stone wall, the outer fortifications of the city. Inside it were the dilapidated remains of some ancient place, overrun with centuries of flora growth. Transforming into a giant spider, Belvari explored ahead of him. Amidst the decrepit buildings, he discovered a tall stone keep, the roof long disintegrated, with only a few aged beams remaining. In, they discovered a set of 3 thrones on which 3 long-dead bodies still sat. From the smallest of the figures on the smallest of the thrones, Inkatink removed a metallic arm circlet, ornately decorated with alternating stylized forms of storks and wrens. A brief test confirmed the circlet to be his focus indeed. So, introducing yourselves, say something, if you would like, about your character's experience of this place or where you are, what you're thinking about. Why don't we start with the sort of center character right at this moment, Inkatink.
Yeah, I'm Josh. I play Inkatink the Kinku, who has many voices but not one. And now he has a magical focus. He is absolutely ecstatic. This is something he has been feeling a lot of pressure to obtain because he's not able to use as powerful a set of component-based spells as some of the other players, at least not easily. And he's been feeling a bit frustrated because he wants to contribute to the safety of his tribe, his family, his murder, and that weighs on him. So he's excited. He's got that little stone that had fallen out. He's looking forward to getting it fixed and repaired in ship shape. And I think he's pretty excited to be on par with Diamondback in terms of power level, because now it's going to definitely bring them onto a more even footing. He's had to kind of jockey with Diamondback in the past, but I think that's made him respect him as somebody powerful. And so I think he very acutely feels that power dynamic between himself and Diamondback.
Okay. Pat, how's Toll doing?
I feel like any person in this situation is eventually going to grow
Sorry, Pat, can you
accustomed.
turn your mic up a little? I can't quite hear you.
Yes. How's that? Hello,
Say
hello.
a little louder, maybe another 20%, 15%.
How about that? Is that good?
That's better. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've been in here like a few days now at this point. Right?
This is day
Just
2,
like a
right?
day.
Because we had a long rest in the middle.
You're muted, Sir Robert.
So it's not even day 2. You traveled for about 2 hours, took a long rest, and then traveled for another hour and a half.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we haven't been in here terribly long, I guess,
It's
in the
just
grand scheme of
tense, and you've been
things.
sweating.
Yeah, it's like the way I imagine soldiers and like a long, protracted battle feel. Like eventually the panic sort of becomes passe, I guess, and it's like you're used to it. You're not happy about it, but you're just kind of moving on impulse and instinct. He's
Okay.
fascinated as a person can be in this like animalistic kind of mindset about this village and these deceased rulers or whoever is sitting on these thrones.
Good. And there's for you to like or not if you're, depending on what is happening. All right, good. Dwight, how about Belvar?
Belvari is ready to get out of here.
What does here mean?
This darkness. Although he's also, aren't we like, he's still has in mind that we came here because we thought possibly we would find the rest of our group, but has no idea how to pursue that.
Though you have found a wounded unicorn who's quite wounded, but less so, at least not near to death.
Yeah.
So, Robert, you're muted and we can't hear Dwight.
Sorry about that. What was the last thing you heard? The kid was running by, and I forgot that Dwight and I were sharing a mic. Sorry, what was the last thing you heard?
You said something about the unicorn.
Oh, you have found a unicorn, but he's no longer as wounded as he was. He was mortally wounded and near unto death. Y'all have fixed that, and also he had some strange interaction with Belvari.
Yeah. He poked me. Yeah, so maybe the unicorn can help us. Maybe I could use a short rest. You know, things that Belvari wants to do, and only one of them can be done.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Next. Anyway.
Why is that pony wearing a corset? He better not be doing dancing. He's wearing a huge corset, right? He's got his massive bundled up, tied up. Yeah, basically this unicorn looks like it's wearing the world's least fashionable corset.
Cummerbund or something.
Yeah.
Matt. Sorry, go ahead. Matt, why don't you go?
Hi, my name is Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, TALAMINI.com. I play the shirtless wizard, Diamondback. Currently, really would like to try and rescue Yoshka and the others at this point. But yeah, similarly also have no idea how to do that. In our animal forms, we have some capacity to see without being together. So I was thinking about maybe, splitting up, or maybe Inkatink's newfound powers would help in some way. But really, he does not have a good plan besides sort of investigating this town for what to do next. Like part 1 complete, but part 2, rescue Yoshka, is still to be done.
Okay, fair enough, he said, pretending to have heard. Um, great. Well, let's just jump in. I heard a lot of that, but I had to quick do a thing.
He only briefly reprimanded National Socialists for a little brief intermittent period while you were gone. I corrected him and told him that was off brand for us. So I said, Matt, please respect Sir Robert's wishes and just don't bring it up, okay? So,
you had me at hello.
I'm just looking out for you. So
You'll notice I also refrained from saying something like "you had me at Heil." I did.
It's
not
all right
say
with me. Sorry.
That's right. Go ahead. Kids today. All right.
They'll never know.
Let's jump in. Inkatink, you have just put on your focus. Remember, it must be in the palm of your hand to be used as a focus. You may keep wearing it, but in order to cast spells, it must be touching one of your palms at the time you're casting the spell. It's pitch black. It's quieter here than in the rest of this dark wood so far. You have not heard much of the terrors of the forest for half hour or so since you came in the opening of the great outer wall. You wouldn't call this place safe, but the dangers here seem significantly less imminent than outside. You have noticed that in this perpetual darkness, the air is cooler and more damp.
An aggressive Cicerus comes by.
That's right. And the forest smells of both growing and rotting plants more. No breeze blows here inside this inner building. Above, the gaping empty roof recedes only into blackness, not the familiar canopy of the woods, though in this great dark, that has been more the norm.
I think Inkatink turns to Diamondback and Belvari. I guess they've all got their hands on the torch that has the collar around it, and he looks to Diamondback first, but then to the others and says, basically, thank you for helping me find this treasure. And he says that, using a word from each of their different voices, that he just snatches that individual word out of memory. And he says, he holds out some components and says, I can split up if you give me 1 hour. And he says that in, again, stitched together voices. And you realize he's got the components for Find Familiar. So he thinks that he can be able to split up from the group if he's able to invest an hour into summoning a familiar.
You mean in order to search for Yoshka separately?
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, Diamondback will...
He says, and strategically, he shows an image with minor illusion of everybody being attacked together, and then an image of him and the horse being on the other side, and the two of you pinching an enemy together.
Matthew doesn't understand.
He's saying that if he can split off from the group, then he can flank. Like, you guys will be attacking with advantage because he'll be on the other side, stuff like that.
I don't think we're doing those rules, but
well, anyway.
But I think we, Mr. DM, we seem to be in shelter right now, right?
Yeah, you're in
shelter.
There's no roof.
But we have
probably was made of wood or something. But no, but you're in. Sorry, go ahead.
How sheltered do we feel from the various things that we've been fighting? Like, these have been like animals just wandering around at random, people wandering around at random.
Yeah.
Does this seem to Diamondback to be like a place where people are going to be wandering around in the same way as outside, or worse, or maybe better?
I rolled a kind of intuition type check for you guys just now with advantage to see what your kind of group consensus is. And I rolled a 20, and then my subsequent roll was a 10. So it's just a good solid 20. Your best guess is this is just what you've put together intuitively. This is not a big investigation you've done, but this is kind of your impression that this wall that you saw, but most of the creatures in here would not see a wall, right? They would run into a sudden solid thing, right? This wall that you saw seems to probably encircle much or most or all of this place, save for the hole that you saw. You get that as a town entrance type of thing. And the keep that you're in has 8 large doorways at the front, but seems well built and largely intact. Your guess is that creatures on the outside of this might randomly hit the wall and then go somewhere else. They can't see it at all, right? So it's unlikely, your guess is, that creatures generally find their way in, or at least the frequency is quite low. Does that make sense? For one to randomly stumble through the opening in the front.
Yeah. Sorry.
And
Riverside is telling me that it's not recording me right now, although I'm showing up on Twitch and YouTube, and it's telling me to refresh my browser. I'm pretty sure that I can do that and the meeting will continue and you guys will be fine. But since I'm sort of the originator of the meeting, I'm not 100% sure about that. So
just to let you know, I'm also recording with OBS.
Nice. So I'm going to hit refresh on my browser, and I'll probably I will pop away for a second and then come back. But also maybe you'll all get kicked out of the meeting and we'll all have to rejoin and start the meeting up again. And then there will be 2 YouTube videos for this episode. Sorry to any listeners if that happens.
Giant fan base is going to riot. How many rioting fans are
Hughes' staunch belief we did not cease to exist when he left.
Yay!
I'm not really convinced of the concept of object permanence either.
How'd it go? Seems like we're okay. Okay, sorry for that interruption.
No problem.
Let us continue.
So it seems unlikely to you that other creatures would, with any meaningful frequency, stumble through the front gate or opening of this wall. It was not wide. It might have been 60 feet or something like that. Because the motion in this horrifying darkness seems mostly random to you all, right? For good reason. Okay. So I would say you don't feel safe, but you just feel safer in here than out there. The other thing to note is, as you walked through, following Belvari's spider web to this location, where remember he had led a thread of spider silk. As you walked through, you saw a number of ruins of various buildings of various sizes, including some places that looked like they were probably foundations of wooden buildings long, long ago, having long since disintegrated. This, my point is to say, there are places you can go and look around and explore things in here and still be inside that wall. You don't feel guaranteed like we're in a nice enclosed fortified space, but you do feel like we're not exactly in that forest. Exactly. Though something could come from above, or you don't know. Just saying.
Okay, cool.
a lich could appear at any moment?
No, that's not going to happen for sure. Diamondback says, I think that we should explore this city that we find ourselves in. It seems to me somewhat safer than the surrounding area. And also, it seems likely that as a central landmark, if Yoshka is anywhere, he'll be here, and the others.
I mean, could be, or this could be enormous, and this is not central at all.
It's the
What
first
would
lead
your
we've had in a long time.
Inkatink,
Pat, can you turn your volume up again, or maybe the mic closer? I lost it.
I will turn up my volume further. I'm almost as high as I can go. Maybe I'm just speaking too quietly. I will project.
To the back of the room.
Okay, it's still pretty quiet, but I will do my best to hear.
So Inkatink looks at every. Circle the wagons, boys. I'll be back in an hour. And gives them a couple of thumbs up and kind of lets go of the torch and goes over into the corner of the room. And you hear him, scraping and muttering and stuff.
Inkatink, what are you doing there?
Casting the Find Familiar spell.
Okay, just blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's based off of components, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it takes time.
Okay.
So,
I could.
Yeah.
Diamondback could certainly use a short rest. An hour of resting in this spot.
An hour of short rest.
Yes.
Shall we take a short rest, team?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to roll some. I'm going to spend some hit die.
How does that mechanic work? Because I don't actually know if I've taken a short rest before. Or at least not without full health.
I can explain unless somebody else would want to.
You click the short rest button, a little tab comes up.
I always forget that it'll just do that for me. All right. So I have a little checkbox of 5 because it says I have 5 hit die. Should I have to use them?
Yeah, you
to
pick
heal.
how many you want. So you might use too many. If you want to just definitely, you can use all of them. But you might, we might take another short rest before we can take a long rest.
Right. When do they replenish?
I think at a long rest.
On the long rest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or do you have to pick and then you're done, or can you roll another one?
No, when you select one of the square little button thing, it comes up with like 1d6 plus 2 heart. You can to roll.
Yeah, but I'm saying yes, but you have to pick. I'm assuming you take the short rest and you get that much healing. You can't be like, oh no, that wasn't enough.
Yes, you can. No, the rules are explicit
can't?
that you can roll one hit die, and if it's not enough, you can roll another hit die as many times as you want. You cannot take it back once you rolled, but what you want to do is definitely allowed, and the UI allows for it in D&D Beyond.
Gotcha.
I can also do something to get some. I have a feature where I can get some spell slots back during a.
And the unicorn should also
take a rest. I will do that.
Regenerate its organs.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so I can actually get back
Sir Robert, would you ever allow the
I can
use
actually-
of mend? Please.
I'm sorry. The use of
No, are you
mend?
kidding?
What is happening?
Men.
The use of the
Oh,
mend spell surgically? Like if you
No,
made
men
a
cannot
sufficient
do
medicine
that.
check?
Neno used mend on zombie Gulb, which did not help. It didn't help Gulb not to die, but it did. I did let her basically treat as an object and make him, a little less decrepit.
Right, right.
But no, you can't heal with it.
Wow, so Nino's the first zombie plastic surgeon of the game. That's pretty awesome.
It's true.
That's going to be a
I don't know what
in-demand
Diamondback
skill
did
in 15 years.
Zombie plastic surgery.
Yep.
Yeah, because everybody who's anybody in the city is going to have at least one zombie servant, and they're going to want to keep it looking nice. And so Nino's going to have to open a business doing plastic surgery
Yeah, right.
on zombies.
We're gonna have groups of people going over to Diamondback's tower with pitchforks and torches on a daily basis.
And then mysteriously, they all leave in a good mood, just like 15 minutes later, and it happens every night.
So during this hour, which of you are resting?
I am
Me.
Valari.
Yeah, I took a rest too. That might have been unwise for all of us to do that, but oh well.
No,
Okay.
Inkatink is casting his spell.
It'll
in
be
the
worth
corner.
it.
He'll be able to.
But
He'll
you
be
can't
able
see
to.
anything.
You'll see.
I'm assuming we're like not falling asleep, right? We're just kind of
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just sitting around.
Resting.
yeah.
So you're still awake. You're not like super alert, but you're aware. So yeah, Belvari.
Mm-hmm. He's getting some special dice.
As you rest,
Mm-hmm.
you also heal 3 more hit points.
So they're like temp hit points, or
Or were you full?
yeah.
Okay.
I
Then yeah, you can give yourself 3 temp hit points.
Woo.
Cool.
Yeah. So the time passes. You don't hear much outside, mostly because you're inside a stone building, inside a town, inside a stone wall. Any stuff that you were hearing outside would not be, wouldn't make it in this far. It's pretty close to dead silent. When we left, just to remind you guys and the listening audience, Inkatink, you had mentioned perhaps wanting to search the remaining bodies that were here. I will let you all do that after you rest, or we can whatever. Do it after you rest.
Yeah.
And it'll have to be after you have your familiar or whatever. So the hour passes, and you all feel, somewhat rejuvenated. The horse, the unicorn, I should say, has been moving stiffly and slowly the whole time. Sorry. It's louder than before, it seems like.
It's that darn aggressive Cicirus coming through town again, terrorizing the women folk.
The horse, the unicorn has not been moving nimbly or anything, and as you all rest, it kind of buckles. He buckles down and gets not laying down exactly, but sort of folded like a foal might, and rests that way, head kind of down. It doesn't stir for the entire hour, except for an occasional, sort of horse-like muscle twitch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may or may not see which of you are holding the torch at this point, but the hour has passed. You have heard no sounds. You're in this building. You're at the back of this building. You're aware from when you were a few little small passages off to somewhere else, presumably other rooms of this building that you're in. And then the main entrance that you came through with the 8 doorways is up to the front. And Inkatink's, after about an hour, stops rustling around on a little bit away from you. Tell me what you do.
Oh, one thing, Belvari is talking to the unicorn as if he can understand him, so he probably would have said, hey, we're going to take a break, and pretend like the unicorn can understand it.
You get the impression that he does understand you.
Gotcha. So yeah, Inkatink now has a familiar of some sort.
Yeah, so if you guys are all holding onto the torch, then Inkatink is out of the shadows. And at one point, if you were really paying attention, I'm sure Belvari the Sharp-Eye had caught this, but a pretty substantial bat came flying in through the open roof. Inkatink, when they saw the big tower, thought about all of the dark, cold, quiet nooks and crannies of a big stone building and thought that there would probably be bats up in there. So you see a jet black vampire bat with red eyes is basically perched on his head, and it has an arm with little hooked hands, and those hands are hooked into, you see there are actually some scales, black running transitionally between the beak and the black feathers, and so he's got his little hooks holding onto those hard scales. And you see that Inkatink's eyes appear to be kind of glazed over, and he looks at each and every one of you in the face and kind of gives a little nod and says, all right, boys, let's do some recon.
Okay. Guys, if you have stood up at this point and are holding the torch, as you are now used to for what seems like forever, you're seeing in what appears to be a twilight-looking light around you, more or less black and white. Not exactly, but some sort of, because the torch is giving you sight. So you're not like seeing, vibrant colors of flora.
Yeah,
it's dark and in this area. The sphere, just to remind you all, the sphere of your vision is about 60-foot radius. So you can see. It's not like really hard to see up close. You can see fine, but it falls off, and past about 60 feet, it's pitch black.
And so Inkatink has blind sight out to 60 feet, so he can't see any farther or less distance than you guys. But whereas you guys might see in dim color or black and white, Inkatink doesn't even see in black and white. He just sees in the shapes of everything around him.
Do you see?
One of the things you can do with a familiar is see through its perceptions.
Gotcha.
But then you don't have your own.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Inkatink takes... Sorry.
I was just going to say, if something, just random thing, right? If he's feeling through his familiar and he gets beamed by a falling stone,
he wouldn't
know it. The familiar saw it.
Yeah. Gotcha. And
so Inkatink takes his...
And what?
He's riding the familiar? Is that what's happening?
No.
No, the familiar is on top of his head, and the bat has the bat's head is above and between his eyes, and each of his 2 arms is kind of reaching around and down, and is hooked onto the little scales growing from the beak, between the beak and the feathers, and in those little crevices, he's got his little claws hooked, and so he's nestled down into Inkatink's feathers. And Inkatink takes his 2 fingers and he points up at the bat's eyes and then points his fingers out to show that he's looking through his familiar's eyes.
Inkatink, can you send your bat out to do reconnaissance? Try and find any people that are here. Ideally, if you could send your bat out to locate Yoshka and the others. I realize that's very unlikely, but it can certainly fly faster than us.
Inkatink kind of turns his head to the side and he reaches up and the bat kind of crawls up onto his hand, and you see he kind of holds the bat in front of him, and you notice that he's doing a number of little things that he does when he talks, but he's not saying anything, and it looks like he's having a little conversation with the familiar. And he kind of tosses the bat up in the air, and the bat flutters around and comes back a minute later, and he'll do that from time to time. But Sir Robert, you tell me, do I need to make some kind of check to send the bat out for 5 minutes at a time or something?
No, it obeys your commands. Familiars act independently of you. They're their own creatures. They do what they want, but they also obey you and are like a loyal pet, like Chekhov. Speaking of which, by the way, where's Chekhov in all this? Did he come into the darkness? He's back in the town.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for
Yeah.
pet lovers listening. But he basically acts as a loyal, the bat does, as a loyal pet, trying to obey with its intelligence being what it is, right? It's not going to, if you order it, find the first creature you see and beat it in a chess game. Okay,
Maybe
so
if you picked Weasel.
yeah, so you can tell it to do that, and I will weasel me. Yeah, that's right. I will interpret what happens. I'll make some rolls about, what it notices and stuff like that.
Okay, very good. It's got a proficiency bonus of +2 and keen hearing, advantage on wisdom perception checks that it uses.
Yeah,
its
I've got
hearing
it.
too. Okay.
Okay. So the bat is in play. Now
So I guess the bat does whatever appropriate increment of time is required to at least fly around the wall and the tower and let me know if it notices.
when you say the wall, you mean this inner building that you're in?
Yeah, and the tower. I just want to know what's going on with the tower. Is there something moving around on top of it or outside of it? Is there an obvious door that it notices? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, the tower, it flies around, takes about 5 minutes, and you all are welcome to continue looking around yourselves and do anything for those 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Inkatink, are you using your senses as it flies around, or do you want it to give you an impression when it gets back?
I can only do that when it's within 100 feet of me. So it'll. I'm sure it's going to be much farther than 100 feet from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, within the room, you get a pretty good sense of the lay of things. There's nothing much in the room aside from plants. You're getting this, before it leaves the 100 feet, right? You get this sense of basically the surfaces that it can kind of be aware of, right? And mostly it's just overrun with vines and, normal feeling stuff for this forest, for a place like this. The walls seem largely intact. It does not seem as though there has been any meaningful damage other than just age. The roof is completely gone as it flies up and spirals through this chamber. You hear it occasionally flutter above you, but that's about it. It comes back, Inkatink, and I just rolled for it to sense of thing it conveys. The tower is a part of this structure. It is, your impression is quite tall, which might mean something like 60, 70, 50 feet tall. There are actually several of them, several towers, and you don't have a clear and distinct sense of where they're located, but you just have the impression that the bat, as it was higher, went around and found a couple of them and came back down.
Right.
Your impression is that there are chambers, a few other chambers of various sizes around you, but it didn't fly deeply in and try to map it or anything. It doesn't have the intelligence for that.
Right. Okay. Inkatink turns to everybody and says, there are several towers around nearby, and he did not perceive anything of immediate danger. So
No people?
Don't want to go look in the towers.
Yes, let's investigate.
Yep. Toll's down.
So the way I'm going to do this, just to give you all a sense of this, is I'm going to be making some rolls. Sorry, when you're investigating, what are you looking for?
People. Humanoids.
Yeah, or like a path downwards, because they went down into the underground river.
That's
Yes,
true.
good
I think-
too. That's a good idea too.
I think Inkatink's eyes are peeled for anything having to do with birds. Storks, wrens, anything like that. He's looking for more context clues. Selfishly.
Do you? Okay, that's fine. So basically, you're aware that there are some pillars, a few of them broken, most of them more or less intact, running the sides of this main hall, and in the back portion behind where these large chairs were, off to the left and off to the right are a set of rooms.
Okay. If we can, Inkatink would love to re-examine the bodies of the folks that he found the circlet on to see if they can see anything.
Yeah. I'll tell you what we're going to do then. I was wondering if y'all were going to do that. You all move towards these chairs, and Inkatink, you're the one apparently significantly interested in this, so I want you to roll for me. Roll me a d20. I'm going to have you do this here, but just roll me one d20.
Okay. Oh, so close to 20. 14.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, you go and you look at the child, the younger of the smallest of the thrones, I should say. And when I say child here, the creature, the humanoid creature that is now extraordinarily old and crumbled somewhat as you touched it, so it's not intact anymore. You look around on its chair, and around its chair, you do find a little small and very strange, to call it. It is almost like a cup or a bowl, but with a skinny neck. As a matter of fact, it seems like a gourd. It's almost like a small gourd that would fit into the palm of your hand. You've never seen anything like this before. In the dim black and white thing you see, it has some small piece of wood in the top and a little bit of liquid in it, but the gourd is hard like rock, and you can see through it. It's almost invisible. It's not invisible, but it's almost invisible.
Awesome. Okay. So I think, and you said that there's some liquid inside of it.
There's a liquid inside.
Is it sloshing like water? Is it thicker than water, thinner than water?
It's just, it's hard to tell in this amount of light. It is,
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably has something to do with the lich, I'm guessing.
Your best guess, Inkatink, it's, you're seeing it dimly, but not super dimly, but it looks like it could actually be a couple of liquids that are not mixing.
Huh. Okay.
But that's what
I
you
think,
can see.
I would like to cast a spell. I would like to. Did I finish changing that out? Sorry. Maybe come back to me later. Sorry.
Okay. So now what do you all want to do? I'm going to come back to Inkatink later, apparently.
Sorry.
I don't care.
Diamondback was following Inkatink. I guess.
Okay.
Do I see any signs of recent
Diamondback
habitation
not-
other than ours?
You do not.
Are you not turning skeletons into minions?
There are 3 corpses here.
Yeah, fair enough. It takes.
If he does decide to start, I look at the unicorn and see what he thinks about all of this.
It takes 1 minute. Yeah, I guess I will make a skeletal servant out of one of these skeletons.
Casting what?
This spell is called Animate Dead. It is a 3rd level spell. It creates an undead servant.
Yep.
Choose a pile of bones or a corpse of medium or small humanoid within range. Your spell imbues the target with a foul mimicry of life, raising it as an undead creature. It becomes a skeleton if I choose bones, or a zombie if I choose a corpse. So I guess it's up to you whether these are bones or a corpse, whether it's a skeleton or a zombie.
Which one do you pick?
I pick one of the bodies nearby.
Great. Which one?
Oh, the largest. Unless it's the
Okay.
one that Inkatink is messing with. In that case, the 2nd largest.
He was messing with the smallest.
I'll pick the
Goldilocks,
largest.
if you will.
The largest sits in the center. Its chair is the largest chair, and the form on it is the tallest form. All of these are long, desiccated, and in terrible shape. But as you cast this after a minute, it seems to like sputter and shake and
What is the unicorn's reaction?
the unicorn shuffles a bit, but does not seem overly concerned.
Oh, yeah, I guess this is happening all over the place around here.
It does not. He does not seem comfortable,
Mhm.
but he doesn't seem threatened.
Gotcha.
Is this a skeleton?
No, it's a zombie.
Okay. I command the
Well,
zombie to.
You know what? I'm gonna say it's a skeleton with some skin still on it. Like it's all shriveled to it or something.
It's just different. Like skeletons can shoot arrows and zombies can't. Stuff like that.
I'm sure.
So I command the skeleton to follow me and to attack anything that attacks me and generally just help out.
The skeleton creaks forward. Say it. Sorry.
It's completely.
The skeleton creaks forward as though it hasn't stirred in a long, long time, and putting its hands on the sides of this chair, the arm of this chair, it presses, and it makes a sound like when Inkatink removed the circlet from the smallest one, and much of the arm collapsed under the pressure, the slight pressure, and the arm just fell off of itself. It presses on the arms, and one of the arms just almost shatters, and the other arm, it kind of struggles to get up and ends up buckling in half. And the skeleton does, and much of its what would be body is a puff of dust around you.
I mean, this spell would work on a pile of bones that were disconnected from each other, so it probably still works.
Okay, let me look at something real quickly.
Probably if the bones were reduced to like literal dust, it would probably stop working then.
Give me 1 second.
Now, a way I like to. So I'll take a fresh bloody roll. And I'll put it.
Gross. Those ants might crawl onto the altar of your fathers, desecrating it with corpse goo forever. Then what would the gods think?
Maybe the gods like ants.
But they
Who are
don't
you
like
to speak for
corpses.
Depends on
Maybe
what
they
kind of
like
gods you're
ants so
trying to
much that
please.
they're willing to look past the corpse juice.
I mean, I'm the dark servant of a powerful necromantic force that likes corpse juice a great deal.
So are we to take it that gods are displeased with the ants to the degree that they are juicy ants, a la corpse juiced?
I would imagine the type of juice has an effect.
Right. Although I can't imagine they would like juicy ants either.
Okay.
I mean, no God, mortal, nobody likes ants at a picnic.
Diamondback. Matt.
What's up?
It took me a minute. I just had to research the longevity of bones in the environment that they're in. So many of the bones do collapse into dust. Several key bones, part of the skull, hit and have breaks in them. The sacrum, the bigger, heavier bones are clearly intact, but the rest of it has no consistency to it.
Okay, I command it to follow me.
It tries to get up and more or less crumbles with some few bones left.
I command those
These are-
bones to follow me.
They rattle in place.
I mean,
You've got this thing does not have constitution to stay together at all, aside from the very large, like the hips and
cool.
one femur and part of a skull.
Yeah, so I mean the spell would end if the creature took enough damage that it was destroyed. And so
Okay,
I suppose is that what happens?
Let's say it takes fall damage from its first attempts to walk. And yeah, that's what happens. It's damaged so badly that it's not meaningfully coherent.
Cool. I say, interesting. I've never encountered skeletons this old.
Matt, roll me a d20. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You suppose?
Yeah. Am I rolling any particular skill?
Nope. This is off of the table.
Oh. 11.
Okay, finish what you're saying, and I'm looking up the 11.
Okay. I say I shall have to make a note of it in my Eldritch tomes that bones have an expiration date. I wonder how old these are.
Are you just mumbling to yourself, or are you telling everyone to write things down?
No, I'm saying to myself that I will write it down, but I am talking to you.
No, that's an excellently not creepy thing to mutter out loud. Fantastic. So Inkatink whips out some detect magic components, a grim-eyed scorpion, blood, some white striped newt brain, and some red-bellied flying snake blood that was prepackaged from the party components. And he casts detect magic upon the strange gourd with the two non-mixing liquids and the piece of wood sticking out of it at some odd angle.
Okay. Before I tell you the outcome of that, Diamondback, as this thing crumbles, you're paying very close attention to it. With your 11 roll, you see that the skull, as it tumbles and falls, makes a clink, clink, clink sound. Something has fallen out of the skull.
What is it? I look.
They seem to be similar. It's two things, two little. At first, you think maybe coins, but they're oddly curved. They seem to be made of the same thing as Inkatink's gourd.
Stone?
almost
Translucent.
invisible stone.
Is there any spot on the gourd where it looks like this piece would attach or fit?
I
Any
picked
spot
them
on the
up.
what?
On the gourd where it looks like this piece that fell out of the skull will fit?
I'll let you investigate that in a sec, but Diamondback, you picked them up?
I look at them very closely to see if they're magical. I would like to know if they have any arcane properties by looking
Roll
without.
me an Arcana check.
Just
Luckily,
then,
I'm a wizard. 18.
You have no idea.
I pick them up.
And they clink in your hands. These two odd, clear, almost invisible stones, except not stones, really super thin, that fell out of the skull of this ancient person.
I bring them
Inkatink.
over to the other artifact that Inkatink has.
okay. Inkatink casts
And Toll
detect. Oh.
mentions that he asks his question. I'm just fitting this in. And a comment for post. This would be a great place to put Toll's question. Cut it into here. Toll asks about whether or not there's any place they obviously fit on Inkatink's gourd. Brief inspection, they seem to be made of the same kind of, but no, they don't seem to be related.
Gotcha.
So
Belvari
Inkatink would like.
to search the other corpse.
Go ahead, Inkatink.
Inkatink would like to use components that he got pre-bundled from the party pouch to cast detect magic with some scorpion, newt, and snake bits.
Okay, so you did detect magic on yours already, right?
That's what I'm doing now. I take it
Okay.
like I was interrupting the flow. I didn't realize that Matt wasn't done with his bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, let's see, it lasts for up to 10 minutes. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic and learn its school of magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers blocked by a foot of stone, inch of metal, thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood and dirt. Okay, so that's the rule. As far as your strange gourd of almost invisible with something in it, you find that sorry.
Just one real quick.
Uh-huh.
What was that called? Summon. What? Familiar.
Okay.
Is that concentration?
I don't know.
Find familiar. No, it's a.
No.
Yeah, that's why it takes an hour to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good.
This does not tell. It does seem magic, Inkatink, but it does not seem to say anything when I'm looking at it about the school of magic. So yes, there is magic in the liquid, but it doesn't that you can tell belong to a particular school. Diamondback, you bring the little almost coins. They're coins, but they are sort of like little teeny tiny bowls. They're concave, and you bring them over. Belvari, roll me a d20. You're investigating now the middle of the three, the middle sized of the three.
The mama bear.
Yeah.
Just a d20.
Yeah, just a regular old d20.
I got an 11.
Same as Diamondback. Alrighty. Give me 1 second.
So I think Inkatink can all. If there's any magic with Matt's
Mhm.
Diamondbacks.
For 10 minutes, he can do that. I have this like roller that's rolling for me. Strengths on it because of the scenario, so I have to find one that is an 11.
1 sec.
Oh,
Yeah.
they all have 11.
Okay, here we go. This figure, Belvari, this figure similarly crumbles at the slightest touch. And when you touch it and lodged in its person, on its person somewhere, that kind of just falls and clatters to the chair that sort of chairs, is metallic, what looks to you like a flask. You've probably seen this kind of thing before. It's like a sheepskin, like like a corkable sheep stomach or something that you could drink out of, like a water skin, but it's made of metal. Super rare. This particular one. It has some kind of little closing on it, and as it falls, you pick it up or.
Yeah, I pick it up and hand it to Toll.
Told you take it.
Yeah, why not?
As he does, it sloshes a little bit.
Have we identified this liquid?
It's closed right now. The container is closed.
Right.
So it's
Inkatink
my
reaches-
impression. It's my impression in 5e Dungeons and Dragons that if something is a potion, you pretty much know right away. You can like dip your pinky in it and like taste the drop and know what the potion does.
Oh, okay. That's the way it goes.
Toll
Inkatink's happy to.
nominates anyone else to do that.
Inkatink reaches for the canteen. Inkatink reaches for the canteen, sticks his finger in, tastes it, and makes a noise.
Told you let him grab the thing from you.
Yeah, I'm not going to bogart it.
Inkatink, it, as far as you can tell, is some very pleasant tasting water.
Okay.
It's not lemonade. It's just like, it's good water. It's not brackish or anything. It's just water.
It's not an 89 Bordeaux, but all right. Yeah. Hands the cantina back to Toll and kind of, gives him a furrowed brow, shake of the head. Tasty water.
And Inkatink, do you want to do the same with your little gourd that's stopped?
Yeah, I didn't realize that the gourd was stoppered and that you could open it. Yeah, absolutely. He'll do the same. He'll see what's what in the gourd.
Yeah, you pull out the little cork, the little stopper, stick a pinky in, taste it, and
Die instantly? Sorry, okay.
Yeah, not quite instantly. There's pain first. You feel not uncomfortable, but almost itchy, like you really want to move or something like that. And you suddenly have the distinct that if you wanted to, you could climb to the top of one of these towers.
So do I
On the
think that that's
outside of the tower.
haste or spider climb?
Drink.
It's a potion of climbing.
Potion of climbing. Okay.
Nice.
Wow. Inkatink shows everybody a little cartoon with minor illusion of him crawling up the side of the tower like a spider.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to turn him into a spider.
Toll?
No, Inkatink
sorry.
crawling like a spider. Not a spider. Inkatink crawling up the side.
Inkatink, you also sense magic from both Toll's flask and Diamondback weird little, almost invisible coins.
Okay. I guess he asks to check out the flask itself that Toll has. He offers to identify it.
Yeah, I'll hand it over.
Okay.
I have a little bit of a pickle here. Maybe you can help me with this. Identify Magic tells you the school of magic, but if it doesn't describe a school of magic in D&D Beyond, what does Identify Magic tell you? Or not identify, you know what I mean, the spell.
Detect magic.
Yeah, I think it just, you can tell that it's magic. I think you need something stronger too.
What?
So the question is, right, there's
I
an
thought that
identify
every
spell, isn't there?
spell had a school.
I'm willing, but the Potion of Climbing, if you read it on D&D Beyond, doesn't say anything about a spell
Oh,
school.
I don't know if detect magic would detect a potion,
Anything.
Well,
I mean, I
potion
guess
is
it would.
magical.
but yeah, you would
So
just
there
know
is
that it's
an identified
magical.
spell that you learn its properties and how to use them if it's a magic item. Whether it requires attunement to use, how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. So detect
Nice.
magic is just going to tell you the school. And identify lets you.
And the advantage that identify gives you is that usually to know all that stuff about a magical item, you would have to actually attune to it, which takes a short rest. And you can only attune to 3 things at one time.
I agree. So I don't
Okay.
know what to tell you if you identify magic on the potion. I don't know how to resolve that in principle.
Okay, so
What do you do?
It's a potion. I know that it's magical.
I don't know the school of it.
The little clear bowl things that
The lenses.
Uh-huh.
What more could
He
you
holds
possibly
them in
find
his
out about it
fingers.
from detect magic?
The school.
Oh, you
The
mean
school
the,
of magic.
the coin things?
Well, he said that they were curved, so they're like fish eyes, right? What's the
diameter on them?
A
Couple of inches?
An inch?
Like a
and
small.
half? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like maybe an inch. I mean, not much.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure Belmari doesn't
so-
know this, but Dwight thinks they're glasses lenses
They fell out of the skull of this.
out of the skull. I mean, it could have fallen in
Yeah.
when the glasses broke down.
So yeah, so he
They
holds
fell
them.
in the skull. Sorry,
He's,
go ahead.
he's holding onto the torch, and he holds one of them up over one of his eyes and looks through it and holds it and tries to determine what school of magic this thing is imbued with.
Not seem to be a clear school.
Oh,
as
okay.
far as
All right. So he's just some, he's never studied in a mage's tower, so he's going off of intuition here, and all he knows is, I guess, he's come up empty. So he kind of, his feathers ruffle, and you can see he's a little upset, and he makes some of his little kind of compulsive motions that he makes when he gets upset and frustrated and consternated. The kind of moment that if Nino were here, she'd come over and instantly soothe him.
Mhm.
And he just shakes his head. And gives it back to Diamondback.
Okay.
Did the
so
light do anything
the
weird
reason
when I
this
looked
is-
through it? Sorry. When I looked through that coin, did the light look different or weird at all, Sir Robert?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to read and interpret how this works. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, we're looking
Okay.
at page 136 of the Dungeon Master's Guide.
You're looking
What
at
does
the
it say?
identify description or detect magic.
No, neither of those. The identify spell is the fastest way to reveal an item's properties. Alternatively, a character can focus on one magic item during a short rest while being in physical contact with the item. At the end of the rest, the character learns the item's properties as well as how to use the item. Potions are an exception. A little taste is enough to tell the taster what the potion does. Sometimes a magic item carries a clue to its properties. The command word might be etched in tiny letters inside it, or a feathered design might suggest it's a ring of feather falling. Wearing or experimenting with an item can also offer hints about its properties. For example, if a character puts on a ring of jumping, you could say, "Your steps feel strangely springy." Perhaps the character then jumps up and down to see what happens. You then say the character jumps unexpectedly high.
Okay, so that's helpful. In that case, I was interpreting this a certain way. I'm going to loosen up my interpretation for your investigation. Yeah, you look through one of these little strange, tiny Inkatink, maybe just putting it, you've got a hand on the torch, and you kind of look through it, and you have a really, really clear and detailed perception of the hand and the floor. Sorry, not your hand. Of the floor.
Okay. I think he kind of gets both of these little things, and he goes around behind Diamondback, and he holds them up over Diamondback's eyes so that Diamondback can still have the torch, and he'll like let Diamondback move his hands around a little bit, but otherwise he'll hold it between these two fingers, and he'll hold his head with the others, so he'll try to hold it perfectly still.
What do I see?
Listen, I'm just going to keep talking until you say that this is a reasonable thing.
Diamondback, do you consent? Okay.
Yeah, we're investigating this thing together.
Yeah, these are very small, and you think you could probably, in some way, wedge them around your eyelids or something in there. Basically, as you look through to the distance, you see everything within your field of view with great detail.
Can I see any further than our... well, I guess we're inside. I wouldn't be able to tell this.
You can see the walls very clearly.
Would I not be able to... Was I not able to see the walls because of touching the torch?
You're touching the torch. He's holding them in. You see the walls, but now you see the details of the walls.
Okay, I let go of the torch.
You really see the walls.
I let go of the torch. What do I see now?
Blackness engulfs you.
Okay, I touch the torch again, and I say, "Thank you, Inkatink. It seems that these allow us to see things in great detail, even at a distance. Perhaps it would be helpful for those using ranged weapons, such as archers."
He fires off some sort of cantrip level spell 60 feet off, and kind of gives him like a No, does Belvari shoot a bow? I mean, the challenge is that none of us are going to effectively be ranged with anything but a spell, because you can't fire a bow when you're holding on. Yeah.
Inkatink, add a potion of climbing to your inventory.
Okay.
Diamondback, add Eyes of the Eagle to your inventory.
Sweet.
Toll, add a flask, or it might be called decanter, of endless water to your inventory.
Oh, actually, Inkatink offers to trade with Diamondback. Do you want the potion of climbing? If you want to keep the eyes, keep the eyes. He just offers to trade.
I think I'm fine.
Okay.
If you have them on, you have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. In clear visibility, you can make out details of even extremely distant creatures and objects. Cross.
And I would have to attune to this in order to actually use it for real.
Okay. It requires attunement. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not
Okay.
actually using it right now, but next time we take a rest, I'll attune to it and be able to use it.
Okay. Let's take our 10-minute break. When we return, we will begin the next 5 minutes of tonight's episode. Just kidding. It's been a couple hours. I'm just playing. We'll be back at 9:05. All right.
Hello.
I've seen some things that I don't use Instagram. I've seen some things that I think the things I'm saying are more like Snapchat. There's so many things out there. I don't even know. A lot of people like to put like deer noses on their faces.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What
They sure do.
New York Post. Instagram has quietly disabled its filters for users in Texas. Yeah.
Oh, we're
I
on.
was like, why are you Instagram?
Thanks to a
We
lawsuit
entered into the real world.
filed by Attorney General Ken Paxton
Yeah.
that alleged that their facial recognition technology violated and residents' privacy rights. In the lawsuit, Paxton claimed that Meta, Instagram's parent company, quote, unlawfully captured the biometric identifiers of Texans for a commercial purpose without their informed consent, disclosed these identifiers to others, and failed to destroy their information.
They're stealing faces. Dude, the FBI went to some Missouri sheriffs and started asking for the information of concealed carry individuals. And the Missouri state senator was like, what you doing
Yeah, right.
in the Senate? Of course, they'll get away with it, I'm sure.
Well, now is the time for all quick foxes to jump over the lazy brown dog.
That lazy brown dog.
Is Matt there?
Yeah. Hey, Matt.
Hi.
Joanna
I'm
said,
here.
is Matt there?
Hey, I
Hi.
just saw an advertisement. I just saw an advertisement for tickets on Frontier from Providence to RDU nonstop for $89. So now you have no
What?
excuses. It's like a new,
$89.
Yeah, new hookup.
What was-
so you can like
what was-
come every Monday.
From Providence to RDU.
What was the website?
Round trip.
Frontier.
It's like a budget airline.
With Spirit. Did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so Robert just flew it and it was horrifyingly uncomfortable, but it would bring you here.
Yeah.
For flights of an hour or two, it's not bad. I wouldn't do an overnight again.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by
Interesting.
Frontier.
You
Anyway,
flew on
no
a
excuses
Frontier
now to
plane
visit us.
overnight.
It was a red
It was a
eye
red
for
eye.
5 hours.
Las Vegas.
So
Frontier Airlines, we're so cheap, you don't have any excuses.
it was a great flight though, and it was super economical. And that's what we did for my and Jacob's road trip. Flew to San Francisco. I told you all that, right? Rented the car, drove around.
Nice.
That's the way to do it.
It was great. We rented a little 2-seater Mazda convertible, Mazda
Nice.
Miata 2016. Really nice. Just took the hood down, went through the redwoods, forests, and all that
Mm,
for a week. No, 10 days.
wow.
You want to know the weird thing? I just took 10 days of PTO, and I looked at my PTO balances, 9.5 days. 2 more
Weeks ago.
still accumulated.
And this is carryover though from, it's not just that you just started the job. The new.
No, I mean, I've been there for, no, it's all just, they're just really generous about their PTO policy. There's really good benefits of the company. Anyway, but we have almost just a hair under 4 weeks a year of PTO.
And do you also get some days off automatically or?
Yeah, there are some holiday. Oh, sorry. There are some normal holidays, and there's a floating holiday, and 2, I think, volunteer days, paid volunteering.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So they really trying to do a good job serving the employee base.
Nice.
Seems to me it's a
Yeah.
very generous package.
Nice. I don't know what's wrong with my computer right now. I'm getting
I
just.
was looking at the YouTube stream.
Is it
and
hairier than
kept
normal? Sorry, go ahead.
Jumping in and out.
Yeah, my computer has been going really slow for some reason. I don't. How do
Have you
you?
tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, I did that this afternoon.
Patrick, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I'm ready to start if you guys are.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Alrighty. Thanks to Jared's epic work, we are now up to 24 episodes processed, where 2/3 of those are an episode A, episode B of the night.
Nice.
Condensed to half an hour. So we've got something like 40
Oh well.
half-hour segments.
Nice. That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. Speaking of being awesome, I was totally not complaining, just observing before when I said the next 5 minutes. So sorry if that sounded like a complaint about any of your decisions. It was totally not. I was amused. Let's jump back in. So yeah, you have found those 3 things that you rolled for, and there they were. Just to give you a sense of that, by the way, with the rolls, y'all got to give you each an uncommon item from a D&D stable source. It's like
Cool.
one of the main sources. Great. So you all are here in this throne room, dancing around or whatever you're doing. What do you want to do now?
Let's go check out one of them towers.
We need to start exploring and see if we can find any kind of clue that would tell us anything about, how to get down into the underwater. We're looking for any way to get down a well, down a shaft, catacombs, something.
So if you're facing the back of the back of this room, right? There are a left and right side sets of chambers or whatever in the back. I guess for the room, the way to say it would be that. Sorry, hold on one second. Hey, Si. Thanks, good boy. Is that for the room, there are port and starboard, chambers. Which ones do you want to go look at? Going to the left or going to the right?
Inkatink kind of points at himself and points to the right and points at everybody else and points to the left. Shrugs. We go splitting up when we're within 100 feet of each other.
Let's just look our heads in separately, and then if the rooms are big, we shouldn't split up. But if the rooms are just tiny rooms, then we can explore them separately.
Inkatink looks right.
Yeah, so you think you go over to the right-hand side, and the rest of you go to the left-hand set?
Yeah.
Okay. And y'all are a good 80 feet apart. I mean, it's not a small...
We lose sight of each other.
You'll lose sight of each other. Hear each other if you were to, say something or whistle or whatever.
Inkatink does a practice whistle. He hears the responding caw from Belvari.
So yeah, Inkatink, you poke your head towards the rooms there. You can tell that some of these rooms that you're looking at, you can see a little bit here, shape from your bat, Inkatink. You can tell that they at some point, but they are long disintegrated. Same for you guys on the left. Inkatink that you look at is a relatively small room. It had some functional purpose once. There are a few piles of nothing in particular, like just wood or something, barely consistent on the floor. vines have long since crept in through various off through a couple of windows on the sides. You other guys see basically the same thing. You don't know it. Your characters don't know it, but these two are symmetrical chambers. And they're not very big. They're 10 feet on a side.
If
Another
it's
door
been-
extends out the back.
If it's been less than 10 minutes, does Inkatink notice any magical items in the room?
You do not. It has been
Okay.
less than 10 minutes. It's been 6 minutes, but no, there's no magical items that you can see.
You should run over to our side.
Inkatink crosses
The room and sticks his head out
to the whatever's further. Is it a hall? Is it open out into another room?
Yeah, you can kind of quote unquote see there. The bat is giving you a sense of the surfaces.
Right.
It extends in a oblong looking room. There are, again, several windows on the right hand side of this place. And far to the back, there appears to be the beginning of what looks like a staircase.
Okay. He goes over and joins the guys in their room.
Okay. You all on the left hand side, Inkatink comes and sees, and I assume tells you that it's basically the same, the first room. And as you go, if you want to go peek behind it, it's a smallish room that you were in, about, like I said, about 10 feet. You have your torch. All four of you can fit in the room, but that's about what can fit in the room. And looking further,
Is the unicorn with us, or
the unicorn is clopping behind you, but not like
is it following my scent or something?
you're not sure exactly, but it doesn't seem to be super close. And y'all aren't, I think, being super quiet. You're not stealthy. Yeah. It's just basically staying near you. I was assuming perhaps one of you were doing something like occasionally saying something or patting it or something.
Yeah, I'll keep it going with this.
Okay. There is an oblong room here too. When I say oblong, it's sort of an oval, but a very stretched out one. It's not a hallway per se, not like you might think. It's more like an ovoid, and at the other end of it is the beginning of a staircase.
Does the
Upward.
ovoid remind me of those weird doors in the
It does not.
Black City?
No.
Okay.
It's more of just like the room's a little fatter in the middle. But there is a staircase going up in the back, on the far side of this, just as Inkatink, you may have told them there is on the other side.
Gotcha. Only up.
Only up.
And
Interesting.
Inkatink's was only up.
Shall we ascend?
Sure.
Okay.
Inkatink nods in the affirmative.
Yep. Walking
We
towards
sneak-
it, you
Ooh.
roll me some stealth checks. Sweet stealth checks.
If we sneak, I will kind of say that to the unicorn and put my arm over the neck so that it can try to sneak and know where it's going, and I will guide its head away from obstacles, etc.
I'm going to roll it a stealth check. It has hooves that are a little clappy on the stone floors, but I'm going to give it disadvantage stealth check. Who knows? It could be good.
Apparently, Diamondback also has hooves that are clopping on the floor because I have a 4.
Great, because I got an
So
Maybe we
18.
should just not be stuck.
Inkatink, what did you roll?
18.
And,
so silent as a ghost cat and followed by a clattering.
A 4, an 11, and a 2.
And a 7.
Sorry, a 4, a 7, and a 2. Total, what was your stealth roll?
3.
And a 3.
2, 3, 4.
And
So, Inkatink.
interestingly, Inkatink his blind sight is based on hearing,
That's
so
right.
it might be kind of hard to see.
Inkatink, you move forward stealthily, silently. Behind you, the Three Stooges leading a horse clop towards the stairs. Knock, knock, knock. You get to the stairs and you peer up the stairs as stealthily as you know how. Inkatink, you manage to glance up without exposing yourself. Diamondback, you stick your head past. Belvari sticks his head right above yours, and Toll right above his.
The unicorns bow.
That's right. You see nothing to speak of. This is a winding staircase made of stone. It's the same stone that the entire building seems to be made of. It's broad, about 5 feet, 4 or 5 feet wide, and makes a not very tight loop. There's a central, I should say, round column that itself is about 3 feet wide. If you were to go up this, you would have a not very hard time climbing. The unicorn could climb these stairs because it's possible, but it would be a horse on relatively shallow stairs, which is not. Horses in the wild don't normally try to find stairs.
Yeah, especially spiral stairs.
That's right. What would you like to do?
Why
Go
don't you
ahead.
go up and see what's up there?
Sure. Yeah. Inkatink can scamper up and check it out.
Yeah, so you go up, but before, as you're going up, you three who are still holding the torch and perhaps
Wait.
in your kindness,
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Don't wait. He can examine it.
as has been
Sorry.
your habit in the past sometimes,
Touch it to the.
you touch the horse, the unicorn, when Inkatink is not using it, allowing it to see. You can see because it's only, again, about 10 feet wide at the narrowest and about 15 or
This is
so.
The ground floor.
The ground floor, the little oblong one. The wall stone has some windows on the left-hand side that when you're walking in, has some windows there. And again, Flora has encroached through those windows. It's a strange kind of vine and everything. It doesn't look malicious or alien or anything. It's just this whole place is very dark.
So the
The plants are surprisingly vibrant for plants, healthy.
the plants look like plants that would grow where it is not dark. They're not like weird mushrooms.
They're not weird mushrooms. Surprisingly normal looking, as has been the forest the entire time you've been in it.
Gotcha.
For some reason, in the absence of all light, there has not been light. This has been.
Gotcha. Are flowers closed if we see things? Does it look like they think it's nighttime?
Yeah, you druids. I just checked it. You druids have a sense that they are acting as though it is something like night. Gotcha. One of the things you do notice amidst the walls and there's like stone tabletops and a few things. It's a largely empty room, probably from age, but it has been. Once upon a time was ornately carved. Much of the stone, not the entire thing, but there are clearly decorations. And one of the things you see is a very common decoration is a circle where you have on the top a stork with long legs and its long bill, and on the bottom a stork with its long legs and long bill, so that the bill of one is near the foot of the other and so forth. And between them, like as a little ball almost, wrens. Wrens are these short little like chubby little tiny birds. And they kind of make it's almost like they're making a decorative fleur.
Do the wrens look like anything I've seen before?
They look like wrens.
Do they look like wren emblems as in
Yeah, I mean,
wrens?
they're very distinctly wrens, and they're not like attempting to be what you and I would call photographic. They're iconography that clearly you if you are familiar with nature, understand them definitely to be wrens, and also definitely to be storks. Those two birds are the ones. There are other things. There's little carved, vines or flowers or other things in other parts of it. But there's a repeating motif of circles of storks and wrens.
Gotcha.
Sometimes there'll be four wrens with a thing.
And as a wren, have I ever heard of anything like an organization called the Storks or?
Roll me a history check.
Gotcha. History, come on, baby. I am going.
Can I see these things as well? And can I also roll a history check?
You may. Yes, you can. Yes, you may. They are just carved into the surface of the stones that are, in the room.
So if I get 15 with my guidance.
History check.
With 15.
Did he just?
Are you guys there?
Cole got a 23.
We lost you.
Toll got a 23.
I got a 24.
23, 24, and a 16?
15.
15. You have you know what? I'm sorry. Roll me one more because you have advantage for this particular roll.
Gotcha.
For reasons that Belvari knows only.
Gotcha. So it's an 11. I think that added 1. Yeah, so 16.
Okay, so same roll, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Belvari, you recognize these wrens, but these wren figures, but they're also different. They're not. The style is, the best word you can come up with is archaic.
Gotcha.
But they're certainly doing some similar things with the way they're posing, the way they're putting the beak. You might think of it, Dwight might think of it in this sort of way. You might think of Byzantine church art.
Gotcha. So I recognize some things, but it looks foreign.
Yeah.
And then I guess the last thing would be no, I lost it. I had a question. But.
Okay. So in discussing this, you decide between yourselves that with a 23 and a 24, I think it was, you decide among yourselves that at some point in the past, this whole region was some kind of wetland. You're putting that together from the storks, maybe the particular kind of wren that these are. There are, marsh wrens and things like that. But also just what you have seen around, the kinds of plants that are carved in. It's clearly not wetlands now. It is clearly just forest. It's just Garatone's forest. Mm-hmm. But your distinct impression is that it was marshy some time ago.
Gotcha. I remember my question was:
mm-hmm.
Is this sort of decoration, is this as taboo as writing, or is it just writing?
Oh, good question.
Good question. Let me roll to see what your. Let me think here. You know what I'm going to do? Okay. Is that something you would bring up with Diamondback and Toll and say, what do you make of this? Or is it something you'd be pondering to yourself?
I would ponder to myself, but if I didn't, it would be a question that I would then ask if I couldn't think of it.
Roll me now an investigation check.
Investigation.
I just checked something. I'm going to see what your investigation is.
Oh, nope, 15.
Okay. As you look through and perhaps even are, tracing your fingers along some of these decorations, the opulence first of this is, there you go. He's showing a picture of some wrens and some.
Nice.
The opulence, first of all, is almost absurd to you.
Mm-hmm.
For someone to have built a place like this. It is on par with the Blackstone place, but of a completely different nature. Like, it was not the same. But that said, unlike the Blackstone, which had some stylized serpentine things carved in here and there, this place is ornate. I mean, some people lived here for a long time, and
a long time ago,
and had leisure to make it nice. Mm-hmm. You trace your fingers along, and actually some of the vines, as you kind of push them out of the way, you look at these things, you're pretty sure, not 100% sure, you're pretty sure though, that there are interwoven with the vines, there are these sets of small symbols that appear to be inscriptions.
I mentioned that to and Diamondback and say, this looks like possibly writing.
Toll and Diamondback, do you hear that? That's an answer to the question of the forbiddenness. There is there's no chance. We'll tolerate it.
Yeah. So they've never been here. I mean,
says Belvari to Diamondback.
Yeah.
Toll.
Inkatink walks up to these, and you see him studying them very. Oh, sorry.
You left. You went upstairs and then came back. You want to do your thread because you went up?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. If they realize this while I was gone, then I'll have to address it when I get back. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Diamondback and Toll, did you hear what Belvari said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that the writing is probably very forbidden.
Yeah, and the Iron Bell is pretty clearly never been here, or they would destroy this.
Right.
Get over.
Do we have components for detect magic? I wonder if the symbol is magical at all.
While you all check your component pouches, I'm going to do Inkatink's foray into the upper stairwell. Inkatink, you were traveling up, and you basically are getting a sense of the size and shape of the stairs. After, Matt left for a second. After a loop, and then a little further, maybe a little further, you're not exactly sure how many times you've looped around because it's pretty uniform, but you're guessing maybe 4-ish times that you've done this. The staircase comes to what appears to be an opening, a big flat area. You can just see it up above you, but you don't walk up yet, or at least I'm not going to force you to walk in.
Yeah, no, he goes. He's going to keep moving until he can actually.
Yeah, it's an empty space here. There are a series of openings that appear to be some kind of windows. They're unusually shaped, but not terribly. They're just strangely, maybe structurally for some reason. Basically, the staircase here flattens into a room. And then when you get up and you're standing on that, you can see that it resumes again on the other side, continues up.
Okay, so if he's less than 120 feet up, he'll send a message cantrip down to the guys and basically say, all clear, looking higher.
Great, you do so. You continue going up, and basically you take what appears, you're thinking is 4 or 5 or 6. Again, it's hard to keep track once you're in it because you're using blind sight. It's pretty uniform, and you're just kind of going up this stairwell.
And is it empty in the middle of the stairwell, or is it like a where there's no empty space in the center?
Pillar, essentially.
Okay.
Maybe
so
3-foot diameter stone pillar. The stairwell is about 4.5 feet and spiraling around that 3-foot pillar.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good.
So the big chamber that you're in is about 15 feet across diameter. You continue up the stairs and you get to the top. You're in another big clearing. Basically, when I say clearing, I mean just like the one below, 15 feet across, except this one is closer to about 35 feet. It's big and wide. It has partial walls with a few windows, overgrown with vegetation, and no meaningful kind. There are just 15 feet up. Clearly, the trees of the canopy are basically right in this thing. So you're guessing that you're 60 to 80 feet off the ground, or
on top of the top platform of the tower.
Yeah, but it's not a platform. It was once a room. There are walls. It's just that there's
Gotcha.
no roof
Okay.
anymore.
So the tower maybe used to go further up, but it's since gone. Don't know. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You just have a shape.
Okay. Yeah. He goes over to the edges of the stones that are exposed, and he kind of feels along them. Do any of them look like they've been sliced apart by a spell or broken apart, or do they just all look so worn by rain?
Too
and
weathered
time?
and worn to know.
Okay.
The ones that are not covered with vines and leaves.
Okay, I guess I do a perception check to look around and see if I spot anything in the room, and then head back down.
You have blind sight, but basically it just looks like a room with a bunch of
Crud in
very old space, ruined, with a bunch of vines coming in, plants.
Okay.
So there's nothing in here.
Scurries back down. Nope, it's an empty. Yeah, it's empty. So Inkatink scurries back down, and he sees everybody looking at all of the reading, the writing on the walls, and he kind of doesn't push anybody out of the way, but gets in there and starts reading them too. And you see him kind of fidgeting with the bangle in his hand while he's reading it, and he's trying to make it out. And you see, I don't know what it looks like exactly when he uses his bangle, but he casts Comprehend Languages, which allows him to read written words if he places his hand on the surface.
Okay. Basically, like I said, the vines that are kind of carved into this, these are not real vines, these are carved into the stone as a sort of relief, along with the wrens, and there are a few little small scenes. It's as though there are figures kind of walking or dancing along the vines. It seems to be the decorative style. There are just occasionally some random sequences of words that you find. Here are a few of them.
Okay.
And they're in a clearly different kind of language than you're used to. The way of constructing it, you get what they mean, but you get the literal meaning, which is, in one case, for example, you run your fingers over and it says, it is nae good a sleeping hound to wake. As you go along reading, the thing says.
He says these out loud, by the way.
Okay. At the court of the king, my brother, each man for himself, there is no other. And I'm just giving you another, bit here, but to give is better than to take. They appear to be proverbs or something.
Yeah. I'm not sure that Inkatink is... Well, I guess he's familiar with the concept of proverbs because wisdom has to be handed down in a pithy way because nothing can be written.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Awesome. Right. So he says this stuff out loud, and once he's said it out loud,
you should be able to hopefully recall it.
And thinking specifically about Yoshka and how much Yoshka is going to enjoy having new ancient aphorisms to put to music. And he realizes, comes to himself and says, Got to keep going. Nino's
Yeah,
out
let's
there.
look up the right side.
All right. Roll me. So y'all trace back your stairs. You go to the other side. You find yourself basically again in a kind of a mirror of the other room. There are different proverbs here, but it largely looks the same. It is clearly stylistic decor here.
Yeah,
This
Think
lasts
you want
for an
to?
hour.
Okay, you want to do the same thing you did before?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you all want to go?
Yeah, I mean, whenever he sees something, unless there's like a whole wall of text, he'll read, 2 or 3 things off.
No,
of
I
it.
mean going up the back staircase on the right hand side.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because everybody else is being loud and clattery. Yeah, that's fine. Inkatink can stealth up.
Sure. Okay, and so I got to do.
That's a
one quick thing
22.
here. Okay.
But I sure could use a 2, a 3, and a 4 to give me a hand.
Roll me, Inkatink, a d6.
Okay. To everyone, I roll a 1.
Okay. And what was your? I'm sorry. What was your?
22
What did you
for
call it?
stealth. Stealth,
Okay.
22.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. All right. Inkatink, you go up the staircase. It's the same as the other side. You walking up, and you get to that same middle section. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Am I possibly listening for danger?
You are using your blind sight.
Yeah, which is listening.
Yeah,
Okay.
listening through the back.
Okay. That's a 10.
Okay. Yeah. You move in. There are vines and everything that you see, but that's it.
Okay. Great. Boy, howdy. Yeah, I suppose he will kind of cast a firebolt into the darkness and kind of see what that does.
Great. Yeah, you cast a firebolt. That's a cantrip, right?
Actually, yeah, it's a cantrip. Yeah,
Great. You cast a firebolt just to like randomly, right?
yeah, just into the middle of the room.
Great. Roll initiative.
Oh boy. Okay. That's a 12 for me.
And just in case, would the rest of you roll initiative as well?
Sure. 18.
7.
For what it's worth, what's a rough estimate of how many feet away I am from everybody?
Linearly, I'm going to say 60.
Okay.
It's a spiral staircase, so you're,
Sure.
different distance
10.
directly. All right. Now will these guys. Yeah, you cast your Inkatink, you cast your firebolt. It goes. You don't really sense the firebolt exactly because you're using a blind sight based on hearing for the bat, but you know where you shot it, and it doesn't have a meaningful difference other than it kind of rustles the vines. There is, as you do so, this hunched over part that looked like maybe some rubble kind of quickly stands. You don't really see much about it, except that it's biggish, medium size. It's the size of a human, approximately, a humanoid. And basically, with your bat's blind sight, you feel it, or you're aware of this thing moving rapidly towards you. Give me one sec. Does a 13 hit you?
It does not.
Okay, great. You hear something right next to you, and it does not seem to. However, does a 16 hit you?
It does.
All right. You hear a quick whooshing sound, and then suddenly this just vicious scraping, piercing you feel on part of you. So wait, actually, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No, you don't feel. Your bat is aware of and hears it piercing you. You are aware of it, sort of third hand. Takes 7 damage.
I do. Okay.
Inkatink takes 7 damage, but you're still feeling through your familiar.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? You're blind and deaf. You still feel it, but you're blind and deaf.
Yeah,
yourself,
I think
to your
it's
own
only
senses.
it's only the senses that the bat has.
That's right. Okay, so what that means, Inkatink, is you feel your shoulder, your kind of side there get deeply pierced. Your turn, Inkatink.
Okay, so there's a thing next to me. So he is going to kind of suddenly explode with arcane latent abilities, and he's going to cast a quicken spell. So he's going to spend 2 sorcery points to cast a fireball on this thing. And then he's going to cast that as a bonus action. And then he will cast, fire bolt at it as a follow-up. So yeah.
I don't know what this is. You're proficient. Sorcerer.
So I have Metamagic Quicken Spell. When you cast a spell that has action, you can spend 2 sorcery points to change the casting time to a bonus action for this casting.
Got it. Okay. And so you cast what on it?
Fireball on it. And then at regular speed, with my action, I'll cast Fire Bolt.
Okay.
How close
Roll
is
the
it to you?
fireball, but with disadvantage.
With disadvantage, okay.
Next to you. It's right next to you.
Josh,
So
are you sure you want to
right
cast
next to you.
fireball on something that's right next to you?
well, I'm casting it away from me. Hopefully, is there room enough? Is there enough room?
The room
the
you're in
room?
is 15 feet across, just like on the other
If you
side.
looked at the text of the spell fireball,
Oh shoot! Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. In that case, I guess he will cast invisibility and run away.
Okay. Yeah, great. You cast invisibility.
Yep.
Sorry, say it again.
That's okay. I cast invisibility and run away.
Okay. You cast invisibility, just to give our listeners a sense of what that means. The creature you touch, meaning in this case himself, becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything you're wearing or carrying is invisible as long as it's on the person. The spell ends for the target if it attacks or casts a spell. And yeah, there we go. You run away, and
His
bat.
disappears.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
because it's
He's wearing it
concentration.
in some sense.
Yeah, it's concentration. So
What is?
Invisibility is also
and
concentration.
familiar.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay.
the find familiar doesn't rely on
Oh,
concentration
right. It is.
though.
You're
It's a
right,
summon.
Sorry,
Okay.
I keep
It's
thinking it's.
It's a summon. Yeah.
Belvari, you hear sounds from above and a clattering of something nearby you that you don't see. You're aware of it because y'all are in a relatively small space right up to the stairs.
Gotcha.
And also a brutal-looking, almost gruesome, humanoid-ish creature with long clawed appendages pours down the stairs, followed closely by another. What do you do?
Has it exited the stairs?
It's
Or it's
barreling
up
down
this-
towards you, and the 4 of you, 5 of you with the unicorn, are filling the space it would come into the stairs. It's right there with you, within 5 feet of you as it comes around this corner.
Gotcha.
Both of them are.
How would erupting earth interact with stairs?
Negligible knowledge of being the erupting earth. I will tell you.
I guess it should
Choose a point you can
it's
see.
a cube, so yeah. If I can see something, the center of the cube would envelop those two creatures and not
So
us.
it's within a 20-foot cube that it just erupts churned earth. What happens is the creature has to make a dex saving throw, takes 3d12 bludgeoning damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one, and the ground is difficult terrain. It won't block them. Like it won't
Yeah, it won't
cover
block
them.
them, but would
Yeah.
it hit both of them?
Yeah, you would absolutely hit both of them.
Okay,
And it'll go up the stairs for a bit, making the stairs difficult to traverse.
gotcha. I will do that to them.
Okay. They need to make a dex saving throw against what?
14.
Against a 14. Let's do that. The first one gets a 4. The second one
Cast.
gets a 3. They both take how much? 3d12?
Yes. Where'd the little thing go? Didn't I clicked cast, but it looks like it didn't do the damage. It took a slot though. I'll just is there a damage roll thing I'm not seeing?
I don't think so. I think just roll 3d12.
Gotcha.
It'll often say the damage, and there'll be like a red square around it. You can click on the red square, and it'll roll it.
Gotcha. 23 damage.
And I'll just give the same to both.
Nasty.
These creatures are just really slammed against walls, and bits of stone just pummel them brutally. They are still very close to you. They're like right here with you guys, but because they come around a staircase, right? But they took serious, major damage.
Gotcha. I will back away as long as that's not going to cause them to.
They'll get an opportunity attack if you go more than 5 feet.
Oh,
They're
so
like-
they're in.
They spun down the stairs. They're like coming at you.
Okay, I'll just stay then.
Okay, Diamondback, your turn.
Hey, are they right up on us?
They're
Yeah.
right up on you.
So I would take an opportunity attack if I ran away from them.
It is correct. That is correct.
That's bad.
Oh, you know what? I'll back away and take the opportunity.
Okay. That's
Thank
fine
you.
since Matt hasn't chosen anything yet.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
they
so
only
they're
have
each
one
gonna get
reaction.
Uh-huh. You know what? That takes forever. Okay. Does a 24 hit you?
Yep.
Belvari,
Ouch.
you take on that guy 9 damage.
Okay.
The other one lashes out as well. Does an 18 hit you?
Yep.
And you take 6 damage.
Okay.
Diamondback, you've just seen Belvari do this, and to your astute, now battle-trained eye, he appears to have drawn their attacks.
Oh, and I'm
We're
just
still
30 feet over.
we're all still holding on to this thing, so we can see.
This torch, that's right. Belvari.
So we're gonna have to all back away.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but I think
But we're all gonna have to back away together.
And the unicorn has to get the message.
gotcha.
Who's behind you, and you've got to.
Yeah, I'll kind of shove him.
I'll let y'all go half your distance, 15 feet, to
Sounds
do
fair.
that together. And Belvari took the hit of that being closest to them. Diamondback, do you want to do something? You're 15 feet away from them. That is to say, you're at the entrance to this room. They are at the other end of this room at the stairs. Or, you're about 15 feet apart.
Okay, and we're all moving together away from them.
Yeah, the
Okay.
horse is having a little bit of a hard time moving backwards, but it is doing so, understanding the nature of the situation.
Cool. So they're going to get the one of them that looks the most damaged to me gets to make a DC 14 Wisdom saving throw.
Say it again. DC 14.
DC 14 Wisdom.
Okie dokie. Oh, crap, that takes forever. Well, I'll let it stay this time. It rolled an 11. What happens?
Nice. There's a necromantic bell tolls on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Kabong! And it's going to take a tasty 2d12 necrotic damage.
Okay.
15.
This creature is just brutalized by this. Its limbs hang for a moment slack as its muscles start to decay. It's not dead, but it has been taken rapidly down in health. Toll, your friends have just done this. These two creatures have poured down these stairs and out. What do you do?
I don't have a good AoE, but I'll do Ray of Frost on. I don't know. Doesn't seem to matter which one because they're probably both equally.
No, it does. Kill the weaker one so that it doesn't get a turn to attack us.
Oh, okay. I thought they were both equally bad off. I'll go after the one that looks to be weaker.
Mm-hmm. One of them staggered for a moment with Diamondback's Toll the Dead bell, and you instinctively target it.
Go for that one because of the toll.
That's right.
Toll! That one!
Toll is targeting that one. That is a 17 to hit.
And let's see. Hit it does. What kind of damage does it do? This ray of frost shoots from your hand.
It is a D8 of cold damage.
Okay.
And that was 6.
This creature is just barely moving at this point. It is clearly covered with burns from the frost, putrefaction from the tolling of the dead, and earth. The other creature that is coming up behind it, just barely behind it, stands to a very full height, and let's see. It says something. It speaks in a language you don't comprehend and you definitely don't like.
It wouldn't be undercommon by any chance, because I know that.
You don't know undercommon.
Fair
right?
enough.
Your characters have to know something they would know in the world. They could know.
But it's been less than an hour, I think. So if so, Inkatink would still be able to understand them.
Okay. Inkatink. What was the spell you cast, by the way, Inkatink?
Comprehend languages.
Great. You understand the literal meaning of any spoken language you hear. Great. Okay. Inkatink, you understand basically this. Let me say it this way. Wounds and blood. This is what you understand, Inkatink. Wounds and blood bind back inside. This creature, then, as it does this, his compatriot, let's use that word, strengthens and feels better. Not all the way, but you can tell it's doing much better.
Uncool, bro.
And the creature who spoke such runs towards you again at full speed, reaching you. The other creature, now feeling better.
It does have 5 feet of difficult terrain.
What is
I
that?
don't know if that.
I don't actually exactly know. Erupting Earth, it says
Difficult terrain takes twice as
Difficult-
many.
twice as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still able.
They're still able to get to you. And get to you, they both do. And I'm going to roll because he doesn't care which one of you. He's just doing stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Toll. This creature directly, you being in front of it, and does a does a 14 hit you?
Does not.
And does a 19 hit you?
That one does.
Okay. You take, wow, okay, 4 damage. A thick, piercing claw at the end of its appendage just scratches right at you, and you take 4 damage. Belvari, your turn again. They are right on you again.
Does the unicorn get to go?
Yeah, I'll let the unicorn go after you.
Okay.
You're right next to it, and y'all are all bunched up in a really tight space.
Let me see. Is there room for me to ice knife at one of them such that its 5-foot sphere won't hit all of us?
At one of them, no.
Gotcha.
5-foot radius or diameter?
I think radius.
Okay. Then I would say no. It'll hit one of you at least. I'll roll for how many it would hit.
Gotcha. So I won't use that.
Attack range is 5 feet, so y'all are
Right.
in there.
I will. You know what? I'm just gonna do it again. I will hit him with erupting earth a second time.
Trying to make it far enough that it doesn't damage you.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that.
Gotcha. Cast it. This time I was able to roll the damage. It's 29 if they don't succeed at 14 dex.
Dex. Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna roll them this way. One of them rolls a 13, and the other a 19.
Okay, so one of them takes 29, the other takes 14 or 15. I can't remember if you roll round up.
I'll round up. I always round up. The creature that was more wounded of these, the earth just erupts out of the walls and everything. It's just maelstrom of gravel and rock. It's not exactly damaging the stones of it. It's a magical force causing this to happen. And the one of the creatures just is brutalized to pieces by this and is dead. It collapses. Dead. The other one takes serious damage, is not dead, and is standing with you. The one that remains is the one that cast a spell.
Okay.
Inkatink, it's on you.
Or the unicorn?
Oh, I'm sorry, the unicorn? Yes. The unicorn, who is near enough that it can do something, like it can help somewhat, is...
Acknowledge that its horn can do damage.
For sure, for sure.
Okay. Sorry, I was just checking to see the things it could do. Okay. They have a weird set of skills.
A very particular set of skills
That's right.
that make me a nightmare for adventurers like you.
Okay, got it. The yeah, it rolls, and it is close enough, and the room has a ceiling just high enough that it's able to try to stamp at it with its hooves and stab with its horn. It's able to do a multi-attack. So, and the room is basically. Let's see. It goes first a 9, which does not hit with its hooves. It's a cramped area, and then a 17 with its horn, which does hit. Doing the unicorn tries to hit with its paw, with its hooves, falls back, but is in a good position to just thrust straight forward as hard as it can with its horn. It does 10 damage to this creature, just stabbing it straight through the neck. The creature is shouting as it gets stabbed through the neck. The shouting becomes only a sort of burbling sound. It dies as the unicorn lifts its head and the creature slides down its horn, resting on the head of the
Big is
unicorn.
this creature?
Humanoid sized.
Okay. I was
But
picturing
wait,
more-
is it a humanoid though?
It is a humanoid.
You can just stack up a whole bunch of corpses on that unicorn horn and carry them along with you.
Christmas
I
just
will-
came early to the good necromancer boys. Sorry.
We are at a good stopping point, but before I'm going to describe to you that you have been the two creatures that you have been fighting.
Uh-huh.
And the Inkatink sees before him. Or behind him, chasing after him.
Sorry, I'm looking. Okay, I will just describe based on the picture I'm seeing in D&D Beyond, and I will tell you. Yeah, okay, that's fine. This creature is not ape-like, but covered with fur. It's got very long arms with what seem to be clawed paws at the end, rather than hands. But it's bipedal, so it's able to stand up. Probably it would run in a natural way, like almost in an ape-like way, with hands and feet, or 4 feet and rear feet, hind feet, or whatever. It would probably run in some kind of quadrupedal way, but it could stand up. It clearly has sufficient intelligence that it cast a spell. It has fur everywhere and slicked over face that does not seem to need eyes.
Does it feel like something I could try to do? Like when I see it and I'm like, ooh, I can do that.
I'm going to say you can turn into any beast.
Yeah.
Beast.
Okay.
It's not a beast if it's a humanoid.
No, it's not a beast. It is.
Is it
certainly-
medium or small?
It is medium. 7-ish feet tall.
Christmas came early. And that's what Inkatink
Friends.
sees behind him. Go ahead.
Friends, give me but 1 minute.
You don't want a minute for each of them?
I only
You can
got
raise up
the
to 4
one.
at a time.
Only got the one. No, I can't raise up to 4 at a time. I can only raise 1 at a time, and I only have 1 spell slot left because I wasted my my other 3rd level spell slot on a skeleton that fell apart right away. But I know that this one has some structural integrity, at least a little bit.
You do. Which one are you going to try to do?
The one
The
that
one
looks
on the
like it
ground.
has the most structural integrity. It's not
One
going to
of
be
them-
able
They
to
both
do.
seem
It's gonna lose all of its like unique skills and actions and stuff, and it's just gonna be a regular zombie monster. So like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, whichever one looks the
I'm just telling you that they are slightly different. They're variations of the same creature.
the
they
one
are-
that
they
didn't
have-
cast the spells then, if it looks beefier.
Okay. Great. What do you do? Cast it?
I cast Animate Dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Diamondback does a strange set of motions that are reminiscent of serpents moving with his various limbs. And after a minute, this furry, bloody creature stands and shambles to him, a few steps to him, and you hear it make a low growling sound.
Nice.
Diamondback, you now have one of these. That's where we'll end this episode. Let me give you guys some experience for that.
For what it's worth, Inkatink has enough firepower and spells to blast this guy to oblivion, given what just happened to them.
Good.
Do you want to start with that next time?
Wait, who are you blasting to oblivion?
There's a guy chasing me down the hallway, and so Inkatink's going to be fired.
Killed both of those.
No, yeah.
Oh,
but
that
you
one,
don't fight with
that
them.
one got past him. That one got past him. I'm sorry. That all happened in one round. Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty fast. I think it was 2 rounds.
Okay.
You didn't get your next attack there, Inkatink.
That's fair.
Yeah, because the unicorn. You were about
The
to get-
unicorn killed it right before your turn.
Yep.
That's fine by me.
Each of you 88 experience. And I will just tell you in all time, this was surprising in part because this place does not seem infested.
Mhm.
So this is not a, there's constantly things everywhere you're on inside this place.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason it was surprising. Okay.
So, just real quick, my impression was that Inkatink ran past me.
Yeah,
Okay. He's not.
up there.
Gotcha.
He's with y'all just past the unicorn.
Gotcha.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for playing, and thank you for listening. You can find out more about this story and the other stories in the world we're telling, the world we're making, at the starfallcollective.com. Have a good night.
Oh, crap.
You
Why
okay?
is it saying
that on
record
recording?
start? Did it stop
Yeah,
recording?
you don't have.
I
Hopefully,
think it
we've
stopped
got all of
recording
your-
at some point.
for
But it
you.
went to YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It wouldn't
I
have
mean,
gone to YouTube if we didn't, if it wasn't recording.
Well, I
It
have
says
the
that
whole
we're
audio
live.
from OBS.
Weird. It says
Just-
YouTube says, or Twitch says that we're live right now. I don't have a button that I can push to stop this meeting. The button that I have says start.
Twitch says that we're live right now. I don't have a button. It looks like it was recorded.
It's on you.
Okay, that's good. I guess if everybody leaves, it'll stop broadcasting to Twitch. I don't have a button to push to stop us right now. Riverside is
Okay.
not giving me that button.
Which is starting my car.
And just to remind you, I have the whole thing on for my OBS.
Sweet.
Good. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
All right.
Adios.
Bye.
Good knocked. Later, guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
John. Have a good night.
Bye.
Hey, Josh,
Sir,
I have a quick question for you. Or do you have a... Oh, wait.
I do.
there's Pat.
Yeah, I got time. Yeah.
Hey, Pat, what's up? Are you there yet?
Are you gone yet?
I think he's not there. It's still doing connecting. I have been interested. If you just take a sec, I have been interested for a little bit in a couple of different things. My work has interestingly. Sorry, wait a sec. Wow, everybody's coming back. What's
Yeah.
going on?
So, Robert, you might not have understood. I don't.
Oh, meaning we're still
We're
streaming
still
to Twitch right now?
broadcasting to Twitch right now.